Right now at 6, the body cam video of a major arrest after police spent months staking out a fentanyl hotspot.
The sheer amount of quantity found on Mr. Barahona Cruz in this second incident was astounding.
Then, the court ruling that could let Pacific Corp off the hook for billions owed to survivors of the 2020 Labor Day fires. Plus,
fires will be more prone to start and will spread faster.
The stark warning for the summer ahead as the Northwest endures another drought season. And the big idea bubbling up on Portland's rivers and how you can buy in.
We believe this should be built with the community.
But first, our top story tonight, a Portland drug dealer facing more than 5 years in prison for dealing fentanyl on the streets, including near a school. We're talking hundreds of pills. Jake Holter is live in Southwest Portland with the details. And Jake, this didn't just happen overnight. This was a months-long operation.
That's right, Christine, and it was back in 2024, so I want to show you right here. This is Northwest Academy here on Southwest 12th and Main, where police say Eber Cruz was dealing fentanyl just blocks away. That decision and the proximity landing him felony charges.
Eber Barahona Cruz will spend at least 71 months in prison for dealing and possessing fentanyl.
There's a big bag of drugs in the pocket right there. And money.
This is body cam footage of that arrest and a look at what was found.
The sheer amount of quantity found on Mr. Barahona Cruz in this second incident was astounding. It was over 100 grams of fentanyl, which for some perspective, he had over 600 blue pills on him. He had over 20 small prepackaged spindles on him.
It's especially galling to know somebody is selling something that is potentially deadly, you know, at $2 a pill, to people who are addicted, who have mental health problems, who are already, you know, extremely vulnerable.
This guy over here in black.
Portland police officer Eli Arnold helped make that arrest after surveilling the 12th Street drug hotspot for months. KGW joined Arnold on one of these surveillance missions right around the time of Cruz's 2024 arrest.
Basically, we identified a problem location, and then we just gathered intel, conducted surveillance, watched and waited, and that's how we identified him.
And this isn't his first arrest. Cruz had been arrested back in June for fentanyl-related charges as well. DA Nathan Vasquez indicating he made bail on the first offense months prior, but these charges were more serious.
On the one hand, I want to support everyone who's suffering from substance use disorder into getting into treatment. On the other hand, I want to make sure that we are swift, certain, and strong when it comes to those individuals that would poison our community members.
Cruz's sentencing is expected to happen sometime this summer. Christine?
Jake Holter reporting live tonight. Thank you, Jake. And in your headlines, we start with an update. Police arrested a man today accused of stabbing a woman in Northwest Portland in a bar there in December. It all happened at the River Pig Saloon on Northwest 13th and on December 20th. According to the affidavit, the victim told police she was trying to leave the packed bar when a man shoved her. She shoved him back, then he stabbed her. Police released surveillance pictures of the suspect and with help from the public, identified him as 33-year-old Tony Taylor Jr. He's now in jail facing assault and other charges. The victim had to have surgery to repair internal injuries. And Portland City Council today approved a major tax break for small businesses. The city is raising the amount businesses can make before paying the business license tax from $50,000 to $75,000 next year and $100,000 by 2027. Leaders say it'll help thousands of small businesses keep more of their money and make taxes easier to file. It is the first major update to this tax since 2007. To another major exit in downtown Portland, Charles Schwab is closing its branch on Southwest Morrison as it shifts to what it calls higher growth areas. The company plans to open new locations in Northwest Portland's Slabtown neighborhood and in Lake Oswego. Schwab says more clients in Oregon want in-person support, which is driving the expansion. In a statement, the Portland Metro Chamber called the closure disappointing, but says it'll create opportunity to attract new retail. Federal money is coming to East Portland to help get TriMet buses through traffic faster. Congresswoman Maxine Dexter secured more than $930,000 to upgrade intersections along Northeast MLK, Southeast Foster, and Southeast 50th. The upgrades will give buses more green lights and shorter red lights, speeding up trips on 2 of TriMet's bus lines, which carry about 60,000 riders a week.
Truly, transportation and access to public transit is a right that we should all have reliably and affordably in this community, and we believe that the federal government has a really important role in making that possible.
The improvements are also expected to reduce congestion and cut air pollution. Also, after 6 months of work, the Broadway Bridge will reopen this Sunday. During that time, crews completely replaced the bridge deck, strategically removing one piece at a time to keep the deck balanced and ensure it could remain open to river traffic, which is required by law. Crews also installed new tracks for the Portland streetcar on the part of the bridge that was replaced. On Sunday, the bridge will reopen to all cars, the streetcar, cyclists, and pedestrians. Joe?
Christine, we saw another picture-perfect day across the metro area. Daytime highs close to 70 degrees, nearly 10 degrees above average. Well, tomorrow we're going to be nearly 15, 16 degrees above average. So it's going to be back to sunshine for your Thursday with those warmer temperatures. The rest of the week we stay dry. There is a chance we could be looking at some showers and some thunderstorms popping up by late Friday afternoon or the evening hours. But for the most part, I think if we see anything, those showers will be arriving by the later part of the evening. On your satellite and radar, we still have that ridge of high pressure in place, but this is what could be ending our dry streak. This upper level low that's churning off of the Northern California will slowly move its way north, bringing in scattered showers and thunderstorms late tonight and into tomorrow through parts of the southern part of the state. Day planner tomorrow looks like this, waking up to temperatures low 40s by midday, close to the mid 60s with a daytime high of 76 degrees. And things will be changing pretty dramatically heading into the weekend. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Pacific Corp won an appeal today in a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit in connection with the 2020 Labor Day fires. It puts compensation in question for around 100 people who suffered damages in the fires. Celine Stevens joins us now live in studio with more on what this ruling means. Celine.
Christine, so like you said, the decision from the Oregon Court of Appeals reverses a ruling from Multnomah County. Now the cases will have to go back to trial court nearly 6 years after those deadly fires.
We have a downed tree that took out power lines.
Folks have been waiting 6 years, and they're not going to get resolution of this for probably a few more years.
Years of waiting will only continue now that the Oregon Court of Appeals' latest ruling reverses and remands one of the class action lawsuits back to trial court. That case revolving around the deadly 2020 Labor Day fires.
Pacific Corp chose not to protect Oregonians that night. The possibility of an ignition must be weighed against the dangers of de-energization when whole cities or towns can be blanketed in darkness just when they need power the most.
Pacific Corp has paid out hundreds of millions of dollars throughout the years to victims, many who lost everything in the fires.
We were able to sift through those ashes, and everything we could find fit in a sandwich bag of everything that we own.
But when it comes to this case involving around 100 plaintiffs, there's now been a pause. Bob Jenks is the executive director of the Oregon Citizens Utility Board.
And folks need, in my mind, to be able to get on with their lives and this continual court case. And it's a problem with our courts. Our courts are amazingly slow to resolve things.
According to the opinion from the Oregon Court of Appeals, the issue arose from when the trial court told the jury that it could assume that the evidence at the trial applies to all class members. The opinion goes on to state that aspects of causation were not proven through use of common evidence.
This continued litigation, I don't think is good for the utility. It's not good for the fire victims, and it's not resolving the real problem that people's lives were hurt.
The lead counsel for the plaintiffs provided a statement, writing in part that today's decision is a procedural setback, not a judgment on Pacific Corp's conduct. The Oregon Court of Appeals didn't say Pacific Corp didn't start these fires. It didn't say Pacific Corp wasn't negligent. Pacific Corp also releasing a statement saying they are sensitive to the profound losses experienced by members of our communities. There are no winners in wildfire. However, the court's decision supports PacifiCorp's long-standing belief that this process was prejudicial and not appropriate for managing wildfire litigation. PacifiCorp also stated that they will continue to defend against claims that are unsupported. Now, as for the exact timing as to when this would return to the trial courts and what would happen next, that's still unclear. Christine?
Appreciate the update, Celine. Thank you.